Be yourself. Seriously, like everyone, I don't even know. I'm online, what, 80 hours a week. It's just everyone looks the same. Do it different. I promise you, if you do it different, you will attract the right people and they will share your things. And that's the whole point, is to get the message shared to more people.
Hey, it's Nick Armstrong, and you are listening to the Founded in FoCo podcast. In every episode, we get to talk with an innovative mover and shaker in our community. And today I am here with Jade. Jade, tell us about your business.
Hi, Nick. Glad to be here. My name's Jade, and I own a business called Maven and Muse Media. I do social media management and content creation. So basically, I'm hanging out on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook for a lot of hours during the day. People bring me in when they don't have an internal marketing department or they just don't understand social media. So then we come up with a strategy and get people to stop their scroll and pay attention to them.
How do you do that? And for me, when I'm on Facebook or Instagram or any of the others, it's a struggle to stay focused and stay on task. So first of all, kudos. And second of all, how do you grab that attention?
Yeah, so it's really tough, right? Because, back in the 1900s during marketing, you were taught that people needed to hear something 7 times before they would do something. Now it's like 14 because we have a 3-second attention span. So you really have to focus and get that attention grabbed right away. And you can do that with your visuals. But what is happening is I'm online so many hours a day that everyone is starting to look like everyone else. And so it's like you get the scroll stop when you are unique to your own business and to yourself. Like when you put your own individuality into the vision, the visual asset, or the writing, then people stop and pay attention.
So we've seen a proliferation of AI writing tools. ChatGPT is on everybody's mind right now. But there's also AI social media tools like Hello Woofy and some of these others that have come out of and even Canva has started to lean into some of that design space AI creation as well. Talk to me about how, when everybody is starting to look the same and ubiquitous using those tools, right? What is it about the human element that makes them stand out?
Well, you can definitely tell who is using AI versus who isn't, because that AI part of it is there isn't a human voice there, right? And I feel there's a big debate in my community right now about like our jobs are going to get lost to AI and stuff. And there's no way. There is no way, because you still need that human connection. That's what social media is for. That's what it was started to become, was to connect like-minded people all over the world. And so implementing the AI is huge. It's going to be a time saver, but again, you're going to need to still go in there and read what AI wrote and put your own little zhuzh, your own little individuality into that writing.
Do you feel that it's difficult to, as you said, build community when you have different brands and different types of products and potentially different types of customer bases that each have their own lingo and so their own communities and their own things that they need to identify with? How do you segment those different voices in your process?
Oh my gosh, yeah, 100%. I feel like I am 8 different people at one time. There's 8 different voices I have to keep up, right? And so what has helped me is segmenting it out by day. So like Mondays today is my business's day. So today is a Maven day. Tomorrow I'll work on another business strictly all day. Wednesday, another, so then I'm only in one voice for a full day, like this weird, like multi-personality weird thing. But that's kind of how I do it.
Tuesday's the grumpy day. Like that's when that's the gruff. It's the tool business. You have to, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah. Honestly, I think that's a really smart way to do it. Do you have clients that use different media to convey that different, voice and tone and tenor of their marketing materials? And if so, how many different tools are you using? How do you keep up with it all?
Yeah. So not every business is equipped for the same platform, right? So like their audiences not everyone needs to be on Instagram because maybe your audience isn't on Instagram. So it just depends on who the client I'm working on that day is. So one day it might just be strictly all LinkedIn article writing or bumping out a LinkedIn article and post from a podcast. And then there's some where it's I post multiple times a day to Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest. So it just depends on who the client is, what they're trying to sell and do is what platform I'm hanging out on for them.
Does the audience dictate a lot of that, like their customer base, where they hang out and so on, or is it like the business talks top down to the audience and sort of develops that community? Because I could see it happening both ways. Is there a better way to do it?
It's definitely both ways, and the way that is successful is letting your audience tell you. Right. So like everyone is focused on, I need to be on all the platforms posting all the time. No, like maybe you're not gearing toward talking to Gen Z. So no, you don't need to be on TikTok. Like maybe instead you need to be on LinkedIn because you're a coach. Like it depends on what you're doing, what platforms you're hanging out on, but it's definitely listening to your audience, because if you read your analytics, which a lot of people don't do, look at their insights and stuff, like your audience is telling you what content they love hearing from you, and they're asking for more of it.
So what advice? I heard you just say, start with the data.
Yeah.
Is that you're like, this is the most important thing that you can be doing as a small business owner, a freelancer, that you need them to know? Or is there some other bit of advice that you want to lead off with?
Honestly, it's starting with the data. Like, I don't know how many people I meet in a coaching session or whatever, and they don't even know where to find it. So first of all, it's finding your data and looking at like the last 30 days at least and seeing what people want. And then my second piece of advice is don't be afraid to recycle content. Because again, we're dealing with that 3-second attention span, and people are following on average 200 accounts. So no one remembers what you said like 3 scrolls ago. So don't be afraid to recycle, and you will become annoying to you with constantly saying the same thing, but you're only annoying to you, not to the people who are following you.
So talking about followers, there are some followers who tune in more than others, right? How do you emphasize those folks as an audience while also knowing that you have to repeat annoyingly sometimes content to ad infinitum to get new true fans, right? So we talk about them in terms of like true fans, or you need 1,000 true fans, whatever that magical number is.
Yeah.
How do you do that while you're growing your audience base, still marketing to maybe a more focused general audience, while also curating stuff for the true fans?
So one way that I work around that is switching out a visual with the writing. So if I find that a post, they've told me in their analytics, they really love this post, then I look at it and I'm like, what do they love? Do they love the picture? Do they love the words? And most of the time it's the words. So then it's just switching out images to make your true fans feel like, oh, I'm getting something new. I haven't seen this before, or because they're the ones who are actually paying attention. But still, they need a reminder too, because they need to hear stuff over and over again to get them to buy or book or whatever it is you want them to do.
Let's talk a little bit about user-generated content also, because user-generated content is huge in the content proliferation game, right? That you bring it from your crowd, you get testimonials or whatever else it is. What are some of your best methodologies for bringing out some user-generated content?
I definitely bring it out at least weekly on a lot of my clients, because that's your social proof, right? Like any business owner, we're all really good at talking about how amazing we are and why you should book us. And like, we are the best of the best in what we're doing. But when you have other people saying that for you is when people start paying attention. So working that in, with a quote graphic on Instagram, or reposting somebody's picture that they tagged your product in with their Google review or something, is really helpful to getting others to book or buy.
So zooming out a little bit, you mentioned that you segment out your voices per day. So the theoretical maximum number of clients for you is 7. Is that somewhat in the realm of reality? Or do you find that you can, if there's a product that's similar enough, you can stack multiple clients in one day? I'm just curious about the business processes behind, because a lot of the small business owners who are out there DIYing their own social media are like, how do I gracefully hand this off to somebody who's going to give me, half a day or a full day a week, and still treat our customers to that same internal voice that they're used to hearing?
Yeah, so I am almost at capacity, but again, it depends on like what package people have booked with me. So it depends, are we doing 3 posts a week or are we doing 14? So it kind of depends on what they want. And the easiest way to transition over to somebody else doing your marketing is to start small. Like hire someone like me to do 3 posts a week, and then you implement your own stuff in the days that I'm not posting. That seems to be the easiest way I've found in the almost 10 years I've been doing this.
So you're in business for 10 years. Do you have plans to scale? Like, what is the next 10 years of your business look like?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know, because I woke up with this. I keep having this thought of like, what happens if social media goes away tomorrow? Like, how will people still be doing the business that they're doing? I don't even know. 10 years from now, that could look so crazy. Maybe I'll have like a robotic assistant. Like, who even knows? Maybe there'll be like a droid version of me. Like, it's exciting though.
Where do you draw your inspiration from? Who are you looking at in terms of the social media landscape, saying they're the ones that are absolutely doing it well?
I draw inspiration from a lot of stuff, but basically what it gets down to is I am a built-in storyteller, and that has been with me since I was a child. And that is what social media is all about, is communicating a story and building a community and making people feel like they are a part of something. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about at the Founded in FoCo talk, is like where we're at now post-pandemic with that and how it's so much greater. People just want to feel seen and heard. And even if they're thousands of miles away, like words and pictures can connect them.
Yeah, that absolutely, being part of a community has sort of been lost in person over the last couple of years, just as a result of the pandemic and some of the operations around that. But really generating that community online has been an interesting substitute for things like in-person events and whatever else. So we're thrilled to have you at Founded in FoCo talking about this topic for sure. What's something that somebody are figuring out their schedule right now, what are they going to walk out of the room with?
They're definitely going to walk out of the room with some tips on how to make people feel like a community, not constantly selling to them, asking them what do they need and like ways to give that back to them, and have them also and have their followers sharing their content with their following.
That's a tricky ask, right? So it has to be good enough, relevant enough, and actionable enough to get them to share. So do you have like a snip tidbit to like share how to get folks to do that?
Be yourself. Seriously, like everyone, I don't even know. I'm online, 80 hours a week. It's just everyone looks the same. Do it different. I promise you, if you do it different, you will attract the right people and they will share your things. And that's the whole point, is to get the message shared to more people.
Excellent. Where can we find out more about you and your business?
Totally. You can find me on all the socials at Maven and Muse Media. And then my website is mavenandmusemedia.com.
Well, for more great entrepreneurial advice, visit foundedinfoco.com or come see us March 1st through 3rd at Front Range Community College. And if you're listening to this way after the fact, I'm sure there's a new event coming up very soon. So pay attention to the website, foundedinfoco.com. And Jade, thank you so much for being a part of our event and for being willing to share your knowledge, the community. It means so much to us.
Totally. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Nick Armstrong, and this is a Founded in FoCo podcast. For more great interviews like this one, join us at foundedinfoco.com.